I'm going to make a disclaimer because I mean no disrespect to the young men grinding in NFL preseason to make a 53-man roster. But bruh, I'm so happy that we have some meaningful football games to watch this weekend. It's week 0 of the college football season, and I got 2 winners for you out the gate. Stick around and listen to this. Let's go, baby. What's down with your friends and followers? It's your man, Sir Herc, D Sharp Degenerate. Welcome to my channel. I'm going to break down 2 games from the Saturday slate, the first being the biggest game of the week. This week 0 Big 12 matchup dubbed Farmageddon is featuring the Kansas State Wildcats versus the Iowa State Cyclones in Dublin, Ireland. With both teams entering the season ranked in the top 25, this game could play a major role in the Big 12 championship race. Iowa State is coming off its best season in program history with an 11-3 finish that ended in the Big 12 championship game. Under head coach Matt Campbell, the Cyclones have turned this rivalry on its head, going 4-2 straight up and 5-1 against the spread in the last 6 matchups. In fact, it was Kansas State that the Cyclones beat last season on Thanksgiving weekend to secure their spot in the title game. Now I know what you're thinking. Kansas State had this game circled. They prepared all offseason for this game, and they're coming in to enact revenge. But slow your roll. Let me school you. So here's why I'm taking Iowa State plus the points. It starts on the defensive side of the ball. Iowa State finished last season ranked number 1 nationally in pass defense. They held Kansas State quarterback Avery Johnson to just 43% completions in their 2024 meeting. The Cyclones dominated in the trenches and disrupted Kansas State's run game last year. The Wildcats running backs combined for only 80 rushing yards with 0 forced missed tackles. According to Pro Football Focus, Kansas State's run blocking grade against Iowa State was just 59, compared to 73 against all their other opponents. Iowa State returned some beef on the D-line, and I see Iowa State once again neutralizing the Kansas State ground attack. So that leaves Avery Johnson to shoulder more of the offense. On the offensive side of the ball for Iowa State, they return their quarterback Rocco Beck, who has thrown for more than 6,600 yards and 48 touchdowns over the past 2 seasons. Now, he did lose his top receivers, Jalen Noel and Jaden Higgins, to the NFL. They were both drafted by the Houston Texans. Jalen Noel caught 80 passes for 1,194 yards and 8 touchdowns in 2024. And that's a lot of production lost on the offense. And it's time for Beck to develop chemistry with some new targets. But here's why I'm not worried. Kansas State's defense ranked 101st in pass rush grade and 80th in coverage grade last year. They also lost their best pass rusher, Brendan Mott. He led the team with 13.5 tackles for loss and 8.5 sacks. They also lost 4 of their 5 starters from their secondary. And they're replacing 3 starters on the offensive line. Now those are a lot of vulnerabilities. I believe Beck will have a chance to find rhythm with his new targets, while Kansas State try and adjust to a completely retooled roster. What history tells us is that Iowa State has a knack for covering against the Wildcats. Kansas State is favored by roughly 3 points, and most projections have the Wildcats winning by about 4 points. But games like this, it's instincts over computers. I've been doing this 15 plus years. Division matchup, neutral site opener, across the Atlantic, give me the more experienced defense and quarterback combination. Iowa State plus 3. Lock it in. Let's go, baby. In our second matchup, the Stanford Cardinal travel to Honolulu to face the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors. The current line has Hawaii favored by 2.5 points, and I'll just tell you up front, I'm riding with Stanford plus the 2.5. And I have 4 reasons why. Number 1, fresh leadership and a new culture. Stanford hit the reset button this offseason. Y'all remember former NFL star Andrew Luck, right? Well, he returned to his alma mater as general manager, and one of his first decisions was to reach out to his former coach Frank Reich to hire him as an interim head coach. This duo rings in a new era and could give Stanford the edge they've been missing in recent seasons. Reich is praising the players' progress and believes they're hungry to deliver the program's first winning season since 2020. This fresh leadership brings NFL expertise and accountability to a team that went a putrid 3-9 last year. Number two, experience at quarterback and upgraded weapons. The Cardinals' starting quarterback is Ben Galbranson, an Oregon State transfer who knows a little bit about winning. In 2022, he completed 121 of 194 passes for 1,455 yards, 9 touchdowns, and only 5 interceptions, leading the Beavers to a 7-1 record as a starter. Overall, he threw for 2,648 yards and 15 touchdowns at Oregon State. Galbranson has raved about working with Frank Reich and Andrew Luck and says he's learning every day. That kind of coaching support can elevate his play, especially against a Rainbow Warriors defense that ranked 69th in opponent passing yards last season. Stanford also revamped its receiving corps. They added C.J. Williams, a transfer from Wisconsin, who has emerged as the primary target and is expected to replace the production lost with Alec Elmanor and Emmett Mosley leaving. The Cardinal also added Caden High, a standout South Carolina State transfer who tallied 908 yards and 7 touchdowns last year. These additions give Galbranson legitimate weapons to attack downfield. Number 3, returning production and defensive playmakers. One of Stanford's strengths this year will be continuity. They enter the season having the 6th highest returning production in the nation and bring back defensive leaders Colin Wright, Tavarua Tafiti, and Mitch Labor. Tafiti is an edge rusher from Honolulu, and he'll be a captain for this game. He recorded 3.5 sacks and 2 forced fumbles last season, and he's stepping into the role left vacant by star pass rusher David Bailey. Facing his hometown team should provide extra motivation. Stanford's run defense also deserves mention. In their last trip to Honolulu, the Cardinal held Hawaii to -5 net rushing yards. That was their best performance against the run since 2014. Shutting down the run and shoot attack early will force sophomore quarterback Micah Alejado to make plays through the air. And Stanford's front 7 is better equipped this season to handle that challenge. Number 4, offensive potential versus a very young Hawaii defense. So both offenses struggled in 2024. Stanford averaged 22.8 points per game, that ranked 106th nationally, while Hawaii averaged 22.3, which ranked 111th. However, Stanford's offensive ceiling is higher now that Galbranson has an experienced line, better skilled players, and an NFL caliber coaching staff. Meanwhile, Hawaii's sophomore quarterback Alejado did flash potential with 469 passing yards and 5 touchdowns against New Mexico last year. But he will be facing a rebuilt Stanford defense in his first full season as a starter. For me, it's simple. The Stanford Cardinal have a stronger quarterback situation, more returning production, and the motivational edge of a new regime. Hawaii will score its share of points in front of the home crowd, but Stanford's upgraded defense and efficient offense should keep this game within a field goal or may even produce a road upset. My official play is Stanford plus 2.5. With the line inside a field goal, the value lies with a Power 4 program embracing NFL-level leadership and a veteran quarterback. I wouldn't be surprised if Stanford wins this game outright. That's it for week 0. Let's go out and make some money. And always, stay sharp, degenerates.